I mean, I'm not, you and I have a good, I'm not trying to create, but it's, but I think it's that kind of environment, though, I think that we have to be really careful of and purposeful and not. And if someone feels like I'm creating a situation, even though I'm not intending to, then I think it's fair to call my attention to it and have a discussion, because absent that, that person walks out frustrated, I walk out feeling like everything's okay, and we take a step in the wrong direction. And that isn't just, I'm not point. I mean, I do it, there are things I do all the time, I know that probably are rubbing individuals the wrong way, and I don't want it to be a gripe session, but I also think if we're going to assume those as the standards, then we've got to assume them in our daily behavior, not just words on the chart.
But I don't want to do that at someone else's expense.
No,
I can
but I'm
do
saying-
those things, but I don't want to do those. I know.
So, I'm going to change gears a little bit. So, obviously, because I advocate for it, I like this discussion. And furthermore, this is a discussion about how we act and make it that's possible, because I certainly use clearly. So, but I think these kinds of work studies can be important for other things too. There are times as we move forward into, if we end up choosing, the voters end up choosing to put the buildings up for sale, there may be discussions that need more depth and more back and forth, between whether it's an agent who's working with it or something like that. It's not decision making, but really for the purchase of some major purchase, advisement about different things that are coming up in the district. I would like to see these meetings, not every single meeting, but on some regularity, where we could have a little deeper discussion rather than statement and vote. I don't mean that in a negative way, but that's the structure of meetings. That's what meetings are kind of decide, are kind of built around. The discussion isn't a back and forth, just chat kind of thing. It's really more of a position, vote, move on. So I would advocate that, if possible, and if it wants to, that we would do these on some regular basis.
So we need to bring that at the meeting and say, let's do a big topic or whatever, let's do a work session. It doesn't have to be before the meeting, but if that's important to the group, then we'll do it. Absolutely.
So do you want to do it on a regular basis?
I think if you don't do some opinion, if you don't do something like that on a regular basis, it tends to never happen until it's a crisis, and this isn't a crisis, but, so I would rather, I don't even have anything in mind.
But that's my question, is I'm not understanding, are you saying a work session every second meeting?
I think that's worthy of discussion.
Because the first meeting can be long, because we have an agenda.
Yeah, maybe the second meeting, maybe we go
So
6
5.
to 6:30, or, I don't know.
Okay.
And, it's not a concrete proposal, but you.
No, but I think for starting with what we're doing tonight, we will be learning as we go, but I also don't think we're on to just change our behavior right away. We ask them those questions, but even having those work sessions that bring us back to that, it's more of a comfort level when we're at that work session. I feel like we need to be a little bit more open and perhaps share our opinions rather than in the frustration.
Well, it sets up the vote later on too,
Right.
because maybe we're not going to spend the time on it when we go to the specific voting, but you had the time to
Agree to disagree.
express yourself.
Exactly.
So my experience with other boards is that it's very commonplace. It's almost the norm. And one of the things that's able to be done, which we do sometimes, but most boards don't allow it, is, if somebody's sitting on the audience and has a question, they can ask that question in a work study where by protocol, it's not really supposed to be. So we can have a little bit of that back and forth up to the board, how they want to structure it. We can have, like I said, a freer discussion. If we had a contractor, an architect, a lawyer or something, we could bounce back and forth rather than a more formal set. That's my thought.
Now, is that allowed because it's a work session?
It's an open meeting, but it doesn't have an
It's not
event and you're
considered
not allowed to make
public
any
as much.
decisions, so I defer to
Mhm.
principals.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you think back originally to the 2 meetings a month, in theory, it was designed the second to be more of a work session.
Sure.
And so, you know, we can conceivably try to shift, obviously, there's times in which it's advantageous to have a decision made other than one time a month. But to have this second meeting be largely geared towards just that, and that there aren't any decisions that are going to be made, but we can have topics that the governing board is going to discuss, and if our community is interested in participating in that and being a part of that discussion, then it's a much more casual, open sort of forum that allows us to have you all to have probably deeper conversations than what we normally have in a meeting. So I don't think there's anything wrong with
Or we
targeting
can
a
start by
second.
splitting that meeting into two different components.
Well, I think that the frustrations for the community who, they have their opinions, and when they come to call the public, we don't usually respond to the opinions, it's
Right.
a frustration for them. But it's also a frustration for us when they do a call to public, and we actually, I'd like to engage in that one person, but we can't. But it's also nice to know what other people's opinions are, just like I would like to know what your guys' opinions are, because it helps the conversation. It might not change my mind, but it actually will help me, feel better about the decisions I make, knowing that I've gotten everybody's perspective, either to the board or to the community. And if they're coming to the meetings, they obviously have legit, okay, maybe not all the time, but they do have concerns. And it shows that we are actually, doing a little bit more open and taking in those concerns. Not that we're going to agree with them, doesn't mean we don't talk about it. Let's say it's been a whole year.
And I would defer to Tony if you have an opinion on how that's structured.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So we would end up having a work session on a regular meeting second.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we would potentially try to
Structure it.
it, and maybe at some point in time move towards just a study session if there aren't items that need approval, because sometimes there's not.
And if we have more discussion at the second, the first one we're talking about is, we already had a lot of that discussion before we get to that action. We eliminate some of the discussion.
Instead of having a meeting.
And it gives us a chance to get more information from the district that's needed before we make those decisions.
And if you have that night, probably not. Instead of we spend work session.
We've shifted, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, if you work session at night.
All right, anything else?
I just wanted to bring it back to that.
Please.
So I agree with the work session today, but I think it's important that we hold each other, ourselves and each other accountable, so if you're feeling like somebody's not acting in the community for this, then you can say, no, this is how, what I'm hearing, this is not.
Okay, so the scenario is we make an agreement, we have a vote, we're going in a direction, and we find out or we think it's not being supported. So we then come back and talk about that.
Well, I don't even know that it has to be talked about here, but if something happens out in the public or whatever, and,
We reel each other in.
yeah.
Whatever.
I
Got
heard
to
you
agree.
wanted to. No. This is what you want to ask. So what you're saying is, I can come to the meeting and say, I heard you said I.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But,
Yes.
So, I'm going to check my comprehension. We're going to formalize these agreements into a document that we are going to put in our governing board's room and bring with us in the traveling show, so that there's some kind of visual ownership that you guys have in order to help kind of remind you. We're going to write down tentative protocols, and we're going to start with the idea that in discussions, we're going to be very purposeful in giving people opportunities to speak. And prior to engaging in your ideas, you're going to reiterate the person prior to you in an effort to try to kind of build this culture of listening and understanding before responding. We're going to move towards the recommendation of looking at everyday successes and bringing artwork and student work into the boardroom and try to do that as a regular routine sort of a process, that there's always fresh and new material in there. The second meeting of the month is going to shift initially towards a half work session, half board meeting if necessary. We'll tentatively still keep that at 6, not the 5 o'clock, in order to help potentially allow there to be more community participation and involvement at the 6 o'clock hour. And the idea behind that is that if there are some kind of topics or agenda items that require a little bit more dialogue in an open session between the 5 of you or community, that's a good avenue to help facilitate that.
We're still,
That was my understanding. I can start whenever you guys would like. I was just thinking if we started at 6, is that more conducive to community members wanting to be able to participate? And if we're combining the two, then conceivably we could wind up doing it in that. Because like we said, we started that second meeting more as a study session. It's morphed into more of a meeting, which it doesn't need to be necessary.
So, was devil's advocate or, but just, reaction to what might be an interpretation of this, that our goal is not to be in lockstep in absolute compliance with every word that every other person says. If we have differences, we're going to have differences. Differences are healthy. That's why it's an elected board, not a higher board or something like that. And then when we may have occasional times when folks aren't 5-0, 3-2, or 4-1. But our goal is to work together and to come to a closer consensus. That's kind of what I heard.
Yes,
that's what I heard.
work together,
Are there any of those items that, or any in addition to those that somebody wants, or maybe a little up to those? And is that, are all of those things that you'll?
yeah. That takes it back to that meeting when we all agreed.
Okay, last couple things then. One of the things, there were quite a bit of recommendations. Thank you, by the way, for your willingness to have that dialogue together. And I want to make sure that, my intent was to have it wasn't to make it an uncomfortable situation. So if I did that, I apologize. The intent was to make sure that if we're going down this road, to really understand sometimes how we may not see it certainly, but others may see our behavior certainly. But there was a ton of other recommendations that Carrie gave that weren't necessarily board-driven specific, and I communicated some of those to you in the information I sent. But I'd like to give you a brief update on some of that as well. One of the things that was really highlighted by Carrie, which is my favorite, was our communication and messaging. And Dana, if you have the time, if you take an opportunity to kind of give the governing board a sense of where we're at and where we're going in terms of communication and messaging. Sure.
Okay, I'm actually very, very excited for this year. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. We started off this year with a bang, and a lot of it was after 3 weeks off and thinking through the things that we did at the board retreat and how can we meet the goals of communicating more clearly and more directly with our community. So I have a list of things here that I'll go through that we've already started and we're already, I think, seeing some very positive results. The first one is Carrie has suggested that we set up a messaging calendar, and I have a draft of that done now, and should have it out to everybody by the end of the week. And basically, the messaging calendar is just a place where anybody in the district can add news tips, can add notes about events that are going on in the schools, so that we can make sure that we promote everybody equally. When we know there's a fair going on in Desert Vista or the book parade or whatever's going on, we can make sure that we get it out to the public that this is what's happening. And again, we'll be trying to get everyone involved to do that, not just administrators, but the teachers and even the bus drivers or food workers or whatever who interact and have a great story. So that's one thing. Another thing that we are working on right now is a new website. Very, very excited about this. The website that we have needs to be more user-friendly, both in navigation and content. And with so many people using cell phones and tablets as their primary access to the internet, best practices would also indicate that the website should be responsive, which just means that it can detect what kind of device you're using to access the internet, the web page, and it optimizes whether it's a cell phone or a tablet or a full-size computer. It optimizes according to what it is you're using to access it. Blackboard now owns both School World, which is our current website, and School Wires. School World is an older template. It is not responsive, very difficult on the back end to post information, just very, very cumbersome to work with. And it's going to be phased out by Blackboard within the next couple of years is the other point here. School Wires, on the other hand, is a very user-friendly interface, so the administrators working with it, trying to post information, a lot of it's drag and drop. It is a responsive site, so the members of the community can better access the information that's on it. And we have worked with Blackboard to get a very, very good deal to make that transition to a School Wires website. We'll have a meeting Thursday to kick off, where we'll talk about what needs to be done to make the transition, what it takes to accomplish it, how we transfer all the information back and forth. The School World website will remain active until everything is checked and we know everything is ready to go, and then they basically just swap out the IP address and we're on the air. So that is already happening, and I am thrilled to do it. In addition, by the way, the conversion team is Mike Tucker, Nicole Thomas, and myself. We're targeting completion for right after fall break, but we won't launch until we know for sure that it's ready, and the teacher sites will move everything appropriately, and it's not going to be a big snafu. One of the things I'm really excited about in conjunction with the website is the time between now and the time that we actually kick off. This is an opportunity where I can reach out to the community and say, what's important to you? What kind of information do you want to be able to access? What should we have in our quick links? What kind of navigation, what kind of departments, what kind of information? Just pull all that from the community so they have a say-so, and we know that we're being responsive to what it is that's most important to them. So that will be a component of switching over to the website also. And that also brings up the next point. When I came back from summer break, Dr. Wilson and I sat down and had a conversation. I said, you know what I really want to do at this point? We've spent 2 years reaching out to the organizations, to the city council, to the Chamber of Commerce, to the organizational level. We've reached out and really, I think, managed to affect a lot of improvement in our communication with the community that way. But now it's time to take it to the next step and reach out to the individual community members. So with that, I joined the Apache Junction and Gold Canyon discussion groups, which I know many of you also belong to, and started interacting with them. The discussion groups combined have a total of nearly 6,000 members. Now, a lot of them will overlap, but even so, there's a lot of people that we're reaching out to directly. Kind of like our parent notification system, where we can send a message out directly to the families, the parents of the HAUSD families. This allows us to reach out to the families of the community, even if they don't attend here. I also joined with my private account as well as the district account, so that as we move toward the election, we can communicate. I can communicate off hours with very direct responses about the election that people have, that I might not be able to be as frank, offer opinions, that kind of thing. So we'll go from both edges. It is important when you're talking with the discussion groups. Yes, there's 6,000 members involved in the discussion groups. There's probably 12, 20 on each of those sites that are very, very active and constantly involved in the discussion. They're not the only ones listening. In fact, your most important target audience is not the person you're talking to, not the person who is baiting you or arguing a point that you know they're never going to change their mind. The important target audience are the ones who are reading but never say anything. That's the ones we need to reach. Are we doing that? I can say unequivocally, yes. Why? Because every place I go in town now, someone will pull me aside and say, I'm so glad you got involved in discussion groups. It's really nice to have someone on there who puts a face to the district, who talks directly to us, answers our questions directly, and who has inside knowledge of how the district works. So yes, we appreciate it and we feel good about what you're doing. So that makes me feel very good, obviously, but on behalf of the district, I think we're making some headway there too. We're also continuing the monthly email blast that we started towards the end of the year. Those have received a very positive response. Of course, that doesn't just go out for parents. That goes out to every community group, every contact I can think of. And if anybody thinks of any others, send them to me and we'll make sure they get out, trying to blanket the community with the list of positives. And it's short stories. It's not a full press release. These are short stories that people can absorb quickly and get through quickly and leave with an impression of all the great things that are really going on. Same thing with press releases, obviously. We're going to keep sending those out to all of the local media and even the broader media whenever it's appropriate. So the final point is flipping the narrative from the reality of our finances to the reality of our excellence. We all know that no matter what the money situation is, we're going to give everything we can to make sure that the educational experience is the best it can be. We all know that there are so many award-winning groups in this district who have won international awards in all areas, from special education to art, music, going on and on. Right here in Desert Vista, we had the Mrs. Sprayer's class that won an award, international award, for their fundraising campaign. They did Project Pencils and raised money to donate, split between Project Help here locally and a school in Africa. Just phenomenal work. Just really catches your imagination as well. In the past, we have been pushing out for overrides for so long. And when we talked about our excellence, people would come back and say, well, if you're doing so well, you don't need any more money. Or if we talked about money, they would say, you don't need any more money because you're not doing very well. So it's like a catch-22 there. So we kind of reached a compromise of writing the good stories that talk about all the great things that we're doing, but somehow working into it somewhere in the narrative that this is happening because people are donating money, or this is happening because our teachers go home in the evenings and they keep on working because they care about their kids, but we don't have money to support. There's always that we don't have money. And I agree, it leaves kind of a sour taste. That's one of the things that Carrie pointed out, but it was, like I said, catch-22. Yes, we are going out for an election this fall, but what we're going out for says we're using what we have to get what we need. So for all those people who say you need to find a way to live within your means, that's what we're doing. So we finally have the opportunity where you can just tell the great stories of what's going on and not have to say, by the way, this isn't because we're flush with money, it's because we're doing good work here. So that's the narrative that we're really going to push now, and that's where we're headed.
Thank you, Dana. Questions that you have today?
I just wanted to tell you, Jada, that I've heard from parents, they love the email blasts that sent out.
Nice.
So you're doing a great job, thank you.
Thank you.
One of the things that I want to compliment Deanna too, I mean, when we talk about messaging, communication, it's a tough road to hoe, and Deanna has worked really, really hard not only to get out information, but looking for ways to recraft our message and rebrand the communication in such a way that we're massively impacting not just at the large organizational levels, but in our community. So thank you very much for that, I appreciate it. It is, yeah.
You go first. This is early.
So yeah, I agree, great job, David. But aside from that, one of the other things that Carrie, that we discussed was the board assessing ourselves, so I wanted to add that to the. And then also what we have planned, if anything, going forward in terms of following up with her. And I know that might be a little bit premature right now, but just get in there.
She would actually like very much working with you all. The times I talked with her afterwards, I think she sees an opportunity here for some really, really great things and the continuation of those great things. And so I certainly think that the governing board and the organization could benefit from having a circle back with her after we put into place not only some board dynamics, but organizational dynamics, and then come back with another check-in to see kind of how we're doing. So absolutely.
I just, it's great stuff, absolutely. As far as the website, it's not even part of it, but ASBA has a thing called Board Docs. Have we ever looked at that? I don't know whether it's prohibitively expensive, I honestly don't know the answer to any of those, but I know that it's used in a lot of places, and it's a really efficient, easy to get to, easy to access for the public and for board members. There are a couple different levels of it. What's that?
Some of the information go on state level.
No, it's the board documents, so
It's more than paperless, right?
Right.
I know we have, but I think it's worth revisiting again in the context of not only our new potential platform, but just maybe a revisit of a different set of eyes on this. So I think it's worth.
I don't know if they made changes, but they were just pushing out some things that looked like they had a light version that might be really effective for smaller districts like ours. I don't have a horse in that race, but I think it's worth looking at.
Okay. Ready to move on? Okay.